Welcome to Wednesday. He's Brent Hubbs. I'm Austin Price. We're talking who needs to have a big spring amongst your veteran guys, which means no newcomers, no transfers, and no incoming freshmen. I'll start us this one, Hubber. I'm going to go to Nico Slaughter. Small sample size at corner last year, performed well when he was forced to play corner due to injury. Going to leave him there this spring. He's got a chance, to me, to really take a step and cement himself with a good spring. He's kind of got that dog mentality. He loves physical contact, so he can play physical, kind of like Alante did a couple of years ago. He's not as long as Alante by any stretch, but I just kind of love his mentality. And if he'll buy into playing corner like he did at the end of last year, I think he can really flourish there long term.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, he made more plays in a small sample size than we saw some other corners make all year long. So I'm a big fan of Nico Slaughter's game. So I agree with you at 100%. I'll go one here. We'll just kind of go back and forth. I'll go one here in the secondary. I'm curious about a bunch of guys in the secondary. Christian Charles, safety, corner, where does he fit? Where's his confidence level? A guy I liked on special teams that I think has a chance to make a jump this spring is Jordan Thomas. And I'm curious to see what they do at the safety position in general. How do they manage that with all those bodies back there, veterans versus the inexperienced, athleticism, all those things? I think Jordan Thomas is a good football player. I'm curious to see. I think he's a guy who's going to make a move this spring.
I'm going to go defensive line for my next two. Tyree West, to me, where this team and this program takes the next step is that group of Josephs, Pierce, West, the Herring, Perry, all those defensive guys that were freshmen this past fall, taking a huge step this spring. I'll go Tyree West. I think he has something about him. Again, kind of grew up a certain way in South Georgia. You know, is hungry, wants to prove Rodney Garner right for going hard at him there at the end and prove those Georgia people wrong for cutting him late. I think he's going to be motivated this spring. I think his mind's in the right place. I'll go Tyree West.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm going to flip it over to the offensive side just for the standpoint of Addison Nichols. Where does Addison Nichols play? You know, everybody's focused on the right tackle position battle and where their tackles are, and that's important. I think there's a little underestimation to the impact Jerome Carvin had on this football program and this football team the last 2 years under Josh Heupel. So who is going to be that other guard? Ollie Lane's come back. He's got some starts. But where's a guy like Addison Nichols who's got talent, who everybody wonders what's his position? I think this is a big spring for Addison. I think Addison's got to be more physical than he was in the fall. I think Addison's one of those guys realized he wasn't going to play. He didn't mail it in, but I don't know that he was where he needed to be at the end of the year from a practice mentality standpoint. I think this is a big spring for Addison Nichols to prove to himself and to prove to everybody where he belongs and where he plays.
Well, and do they keep him at center? Do they put him at guard? Do they move him back out to some tackle? I mean, what do they do with Addison Nichols? I think you're right. That guard spot opposite Spraggins is going to be interesting because you still have some returning guys. Ollie Lane, you mentioned him. Jackson Lampley. You got the transfer from Texas, Andre Keurig. I mean, you've got some different bodies that could be your left guard. We'll see who kind of makes their way out of that. Lastly, for me, I'm going James Pierce. I know he's not only been in the program for about 8 months now, 9 months, almost coming up on a year, but he has special written all over him. A little immature last year. Robert Ayers has come in, really kind of, I think, helped mold him a little bit here early on. He's kind of focused in as we head into spring practice. He's had a good winter session. He's up over 240 pounds. When he played last fall, Hubs, he was hell on wheels. I think he can do that every down if honed correctly. It seems like he's maybe kind of pointed in the right direction. If that happens, again, that's where this program takes the next step, is with those young defensive guys.
Well, and it's about getting to the quarterback off the edge. It's about affecting the quarterback, whether it's a sack or just a pressure. Somebody's got to get there. I'm going to have to go with you on James Pierce. I know I should probably throw another name out there, but he's a guy that I am vastly curious to see because you see all the tools there. It's about putting it together. It's about the maturing factor, which is normal. He's not a bad egg. He's not a bad kid. It's just, it was different. The amount of time spent needed to do all those things, time management, everything that was involved. He just kind of went and practiced because he was the fastest guy, and better than everybody else he played against. It's not the way it works here at this level. He understands that now. I think Robert Ayers is big for them. They've got to get the quarterback off the edge. I think he may be their best candidate to get to the quarterback off the edge this year. If he can continue to put it all together, that's why these 15 practices are big for him.
Absolutely. He's Brent Hubbs. I'm Austin Price. We'll talk about it on the General's Quarters. Who needs to have a big spring?